Alright gang, welcome back to our survival challenge here on New Frontier. It is May day 2. We did not move over the wool and sell the pallet of clothes in the last episode, so we're going to start that off right now. We don't have a whole lot to do here in May day 2. We'll probably be jumping to June in this episode, but for now we're going to stay in May. Now my goals really here are we're going to get the wool over here into Grandma's house. We're going to go sell this pallet of clothes, and we're going to sell our windrower. And then finally, we're going to continue to work on getting rid of some of the trees all the way over there in the distance, where I said we were going to make our grass field, which will be utilized for both our sheep and for our water buffalo. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. Things are pretty good here, all things considered. It's appearing as though we are going to either be canceling or delaying or putting it on pause, whatever you want to call it, the investment challenge, which is very much unfortunate. But it's in a state right now where it really can't be played. At least not to a state of quality that I want to keep on the channel. So the episode talking about it just recently came out, so I'm gonna give it another day or two probably before I make the decision on if we're going to continue it or not. And really it's up to all of you more than anything. If you want me to continue doing it, I will do it. It's just not the most elegant thing having those big massive holes all over the map, and the bridges are an absolute mess. Alright, we'll just leave that there for right now. Let's jump here into the fence. Let's head on up to the shop here. We'll sell this windrower and make a little bit of money back. Which is good, because we've been utilizing a hell of a lot of money over the last couple of episodes, the last handful of episodes, really. We've spent a lot of money. Not that we're in any kind of harm to being in the negative or anything like that, but we have spent a lot of money. So getting a small amount back is good. Alright, let's see what we get here. We'll repair it, repaint it for 18,000. Get us a little bit more money, so 60 grand. That's pretty good. We'll take that. Now, we also thought about potentially getting rid of one of the tractors since we have so many now, and we've got some other implements that we're utilizing that we may not specifically need as many tractors that we have for now. But I'm going to keep all of the ones we have for the time being as we carry along here and get closer to the end. If it gets to a point where we're really only utilizing, 2 or 3 of them, then certainly we can get rid of one at that point. But speaking of the end of this series, it is looming. It's a while. It's probably 10 to 12, 15 episodes away, something like that. All the stuff that we drilled recently or seeded recently or planted recently, specifically like the cornfield, we're going to do that harvest first before we end this series. Now, as far as ending this series, I could just go into the process of selling everything. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to leave this series, as I do some other series, where it's a working farm, right? So I'm going to leave it in a working state and just imagine that I sold it to somebody, right? Perhaps I'm getting up there in age and I decided it was time for me to move on from farming and maybe start a retirement life. Something like that, right? That's the way that I can vision this ending. There will be certain series where we'll be selling everything, but I don't think this is one that really needs to be in that kind of a situation, so we're not going to do that. Clean this area up a little bit. I moved the trailer over here, under here, which I talked about, being kind of an area that would be a path to go through. I haven't completed removing those trees over there and making the paths and everything over here. We haven't done any of that, so maybe we do some of that today, but probably not. I've been busy over here trying to knock down these trees. As you can see, our poplar field is right here, and as you remember, there was a ton of trees here, so I've kind of opened up this area a little bit. There's still a long way to go before we're getting rid of all of these, and I don't think we're going to get all of it done today, although I might like it. I don't think we're going to. I think there's just a little bit too much wood here. I have already filled up this trailer one time to the max, and I've unloaded that into our silo. I thought about just selling it outright, but I decided not to do that. A couple of reasons why. One, we're going to be in the winter months before we're done with this series once again. So we might as well save it, and even though we don't necessarily need the money, we might as well save it and try to get as much money as we can out of it. So we're just going to go ahead and storing all of the wood chips for now. Ideally, I'd like to get rid of this cluster of trees here that we have, and then that section over there can be done in another episode, whether it's the next episode or a following episode, whenever it may be. That's ideally what I would like to accomplish. Now, we have 2 fields here that are getting, well, this one more specifically than all the other ones, is getting relatively close to a harvest stage. I don't think, though, is that oat or is that barley? Barley. I do not think it will be in the next episode either. It will. I'm sorry, I'm incorrect. So we can harvest that once we jump from here from May Day 2 to June, which is nice, right? We haven't done a harvest in a while, and that means we can utilize the Nexat pack, which we have not utilized at all. We bought it, but we haven't used it yet. Speaking of that, I do also need to buy the attachment for corn, because right now we just have the attachment for your generic cereal crops. We've got some big trees in here, which should provide us with a lot of wood chips. We're almost full, actually, already. I had been doing a little bit more work off camera, as I showed, knocking down a lot of these trees. There are a couple of trees that got knocked down that we're going to have to pull and put into our sawmill, which is perfectly fine. That sawmill, I think, is empty right now anyway, so really it could probably use a little bit of wood. But going about it this way with the Tree Devour mod is just so much more convenient. And it makes you a lot of money, too. Alright, it is full. Let's head on over here and unload it. It's really starting to open up this area now, though. It's looking really good, man. Looking really, really good. Yeah, hopefully you're all doing well. Things are good here, man. Things are really good, actually. My wife's birthday. Let's see, the time this is coming out, I think it'll actually be the day of my wife's birthday. So we'll probably be doing some kind of a dinner somewhere, I'm sure. I don't know where yet. I mean, that's her choice, right? We're getting old. I was talking to somebody else who, when I was talking about, you know, when Roller Coaster Tycoon came out, I think I was talking about it in the one-tile challenge, because that's really where I got the idea for the one-tile challenge. Somebody was very similar age as I was of when Roller Coaster Tycoon came out, and we're getting old. We're getting old. It's crazy. I don't know what happened here. So I just noticed this on the way up here. You see this bump right here? That was not there, I don't think. Well, maybe it was, but I don't think it was there before, until between the last episode and this one, I guess, or the last time we were over here. I'm going to try to smoothen that out, because that's going to drive me crazy. It's not going to even let me smooth it out. Weird. Lets me smooth it there, but it doesn't let me smooth it here. Weird. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. That's not as severe as the investment challenge I was talking about. It's not even close to how bad that one is. That one's ridiculous. So what are we going to do, right? So if we decide not to finish the investment challenge, what are we going to do? Well, I've got some ideas. I'm not sure which one's going to come to fruition. Now, a couple of these ideas have already been run past members on my channel. So I've mentioned this a number of times, but just bear with me for a minute. I'm going to mention it really quick here again. So they get access to members-only series, and a lot of the times it's just a playthrough of some kind of loose story-based playthrough, or we're trying to work through new challenges. The one-tile challenge was one of those, and a couple of the other ones that were provided to them to make a choice on were also there. And I've got those, but I kind of have more of a want to do some kind of a loose, very loose probably, based story type of playthrough. Maybe more so, what I guess I should say more than anything is, it's not like a survival roleplay per se. More of just there's a reason why we're doing A, X, Y, B, Z, whatever. We have a reason for being on this farm. We have a reason for what it is we're doing. Instead of just being a challenge, it's, you know, not necessarily a challenge at all. It's just a, you know, I'm helping out somebody in the family, or I'm helping out a neighbor, or whatever it may be, right? I'm trying to make my own, how would I put it? I guess try to make my own living, right? Maybe you go and you become like a helper, like a helping hand on a farm, try to get some money together, and then you end up starting your own farm eventually, right? Something like that, like a very loosely based story. Maybe some small bits from time to time that are role-play-ish, but really not an every episode role-play situation, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I kind of want to do that, right? We've been doing nothing but challenges since we started FS25, and it's not that I dislike challenges. I love challenges. I make up challenges a lot, obviously. Some are home runs and other ones aren't, right? It's with everything. But kind of want to maybe have one series going that isn't a challenge, right? Just kind of change it up a little bit. Whether that's right or wrong, we'll find out. That's kind of where my head's at right now. I've got some thoughts, I've got some ideas of what I want to run and how I want to do that. So we'll see. I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. I actually had envisioned, you know, having that kind of replace the investment challenge when we're done. But given the fact that it's looking more and more like we are going to end that series a lot sooner than we anticipated, I'm not exactly ready for it yet. Oop, I didn't autosave, evidently. Whoops. So, you know, it'll come whenever it's ready, but it may not be, you know, starting up next week, I guess is what I'll say. Which is fine, right? I talked about how I wanted to kind of drop down. I've got a lot of series running. I kind of want to drop that down a little bit. The Oak Bridge series, which is a time-lapse series, is not doing as well as I had hoped. I get it. Not a lot of people like time-lapse series. I totally get it. I was running it as kind of like a bonus thing, and I think that's really what we're going to do, is just continue to run it as a bonus. I'm probably not going to put it on a schedule of sorts. It'll probably be a situation where whenever I have some availability of time, or I have something going on where I'm not allowed to, I say not allowed, I can't really talk, like maybe there's, I don't know, maybe somebody said staying at the house, right, and they're sleeping early or something, because where I do my video recordings at is right next to our, well, I say it's our spare bedroom. A lot of times I sleep in there. So whenever, you know, somebody's here, really, I can't be up late at night, because right now, when I do most of my recordings, it's late at night. It's when my wife goes to bed. So I'm doing a lot of recordings 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, which maybe that's not that late for some people, but my wife goes to bed super early. She has to get up at like 5:30, something like that. So she's normally in bed by 10 at the 10:30 at the latest. Making good progress here. We still got a long way to go to get the rest of this batch out of here. I think what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to go ahead and jump to June. So let's go ahead and do that, and we can start harvesting. I just want to break it up a little bit. I don't want to just sit there and do that over and over again. We've done that a lot lately, and I'm ready to harvest something. I want to use that new Nexat pack. All right, it is June. Here we go, gang. This thing is a beast. It's really difficult to turn. It's the articulate stuff, which I have mentioned many times. Actually, I'm going to go to first-person view. I've mentioned to you many times before that I am not good with articulate equipment. For whatever reason, it just doesn't. My mind, my brain, I guess, doesn't comprehend the turning radiuses. So I have issues sometimes with that, but once we get into the stage where it can actually harvest something, I don't think it's going to be that bad. But I wasn't really expecting to utilize such massive equipment when we started out this series. So I really don't have this... how would I put it? I guess I don't really have enough room for this behemoth in a lot of the different locations to maneuver. There's not enough room for it to maneuver around, I guess is how I should say it. Okay, so I'm going to turn on these settings because I'm going to get this wrong. I'm just going to tell you right now, I am going to get this wrong. This thing, look at this thing. Look at the way this thing goes, man. This thing is insane. This is insane. Okay, straw swath. Yes, we want that. Turn it on. Look at this thing, dude. This thing is insane. Look at this thing. Oh, this thing's nuts. It's insane, man. That is absolutely insane. I mean, we're getting 2 swaths out of this. Alright, so I'm going to turn this off now and get that out of the way. Okay, I'm going to try this steering assist. I think it's going to be that thing that's going to help me the most here. It wants me to do a bunch of headland passes. So, okay, that's fine. That's probably going to be easier for me anyway. We're underway, man. This thing is pretty sweet. It really is. That is a massive, massive header. That is a massive machine. This is really cool, man. This is really, really cool. I was afraid that I would never ever use this thing. I really was. Because most of the stuff that I do on the channel is, we are killing crop here. Okay. Let me see if I can maneuver this a little bit differently. Most of the stuff I do on the channel is a smaller format. Just because the challenges I do typically are from a smaller, setup. The survival challenge, the way we did with this one, that's probably the best bet that I've had and that I normally will have to be able to utilize big, massive equipment like this. And so I really wanted to make sure we were able to get large enough that I could use this because it might be the only chance I get to do so. Now, I guess there's a chance with the the series I was just talking about where we have some kind of a loosely based story. Certainly that might be able to be accomplished then, but the odds are still, I think, low even for that series. I mean, look at this thing when you're in the first-person view. Like, it's even difficult to to maneuver then, too, isn't it? This thing's nuts, man. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it does make short work of this field, man. We are cruising along here. It's so cool. That is so cool. That is such a cool machine, man. I love it. I love it. Well, we just missed some there, evidently. That was good. We had some hail damage here, as you can clearly tell. So I think what we're going to do here now, gang, is we'll throw a bit of a time lapse in here. We're going to get this done. We're also going to get all the straw picked up too. We'll get all that taken care of as well. Which I think we're going to utilize the John Deere forage harvester for that as well. Because why not, right? Why not? I think it makes the most sense. They're already in nice swaths for us. I need to get a lot better at maneuvering this thing. I'm going to tell you that right now. I need to get a lot better. I will get better with time, though. It'll get better with time, right? We just got to practice with it a little bit more, utilize it a little more. I've never used this ever. I don't recall if this ever was in FS22 or not, but I did not use it there either. If it was, I did not use it. So it's the first time I've ever used this piece of equipment. Okay, well, this thing does not do well on hills. That much is clear. Let's get the pipe out here. Let's go ahead and unload this. We're just going to use the semi for this because we've got the wood chips and the other thing. So I'm glad we did not end up getting rid of this, even though we haven't utilized it that much. I figured we would start utilizing it once it was time to start harvesting all these fields. We've got a lot of fields now. One trailer really probably isn't going to do it. It was not the most elegant swath lines because of the issues with the hill here. But that's okay. Now it is barley. Barley's not going to be good to sell right now. We could potentially turn the barley into something else, but I think for the time being, even if we decide to put it into something else, I think for the time being, we're just going to put it in storage. We might turn it into flour, maybe. Although, I don't even see flour on here, so maybe not. We'll just hold on to it for now. Barley's not good, like I said, to sell until the end of the year, so this will just go into our silo, and then we can take the harvester and put it away. I'm going to have to get used to that a little bit more. I had quite a few issues with it. The hills were definitely a problem. Okay, so that's doing that. So let's jump back into here. Fold the pipe up. We can fold this thing up then and bring it back to its location, to its home. It's quite the frickin' machine, man. The way this whole thing works, it's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. And I remember when I was trying to get it set up, it was crazy too. All right, we're gonna go this way. We're gonna take a shortcut. Eventually, we're gonna have a track coming over here anyway, so I'm just gonna save ourselves a little bit of time and go this way. Up to 301,000, by the way, which is great. All right, that's done. The next step we need to do is we need to grab some buffalo milk from the pin here with the water buffalo and move it over here to our dairy. It's starting to run out. It still has some milk in there, but it is getting lower. About 500-600 liters, something like that, which means it will be gone by the time the next episode airs. So we need to move some of that buffalo milk over there. We've got tons and tons of sugar. The dairy cannot keep up with the sugar that we have. So what we'll likely do is sell the sugar when it's time to sell it. I do not believe... okay. I do not believe it's best to sell the sugar right now. I think it's August, maybe? Either way, I just know it's not today, so... Alright, perfect. All the water's gone out of this, so now we can go ahead and put the buffalo milk in here. It was a tight fit there. I probably should have gave myself a little bit more room than I did. That's alright. Now, I think the milk, I think we get it over here, I think. It's been a bit since we've done the milk, honestly. Yep. Good. So, like I said, not a ton of milk in there. Now, I think I have to put it in the same location as the sugar. All these massive piles of sugar we have. Yeah. So... hopefully it'll detect it from here and I don't have to move the sugar. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Alright, so that should be going into there. Good, good. Awesome, that's good. So we can go ahead and put this back over there then. As long as the greenhouses are okay, which I think they are. I mean, they could use a little bit of water, some of them, but they're fine. They don't need it right now. Let's go ahead and put this away. Now, we might need to do a second application of fertilizer. Actually, you know what? I don't think we will. We looked at that in the last episode, didn't we? I don't think we do. But before I say that, though, I think we already did that. Yeah, we did that. All right, we're good there. So, we need to get the straw up then. That's the next step. Get the straw up. So, let's find our John Deere. There it is. Now, what we're going to have to do... got so many different pieces of equipment now, it takes forever to flip between everything. I'm just going to leave the tree devourer right there for now. We need to go unload all of the wood chips out of this because we need this trailer to pick up all that straw. Now, picking up all that straw is going to be very helpful for us because we still have a good amount of straw, so we don't really need more straw for the bedding for the water buffalo. So now, what we can really do with that straw is actually turn it into silage. Our little silage production there does have the opportunity for us to be able to turn straw into silage as well, which is likely what we're going to do. I left that trailer probably in the wrong spot, but I should be able to still get this to unload here, I think. Okay, while that's doing that, let's get back into here and let's start bringing this over. Unfold the pipe, get everything prepped and ready to go. There you go. You can see how much sugar we truly have there. It's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. Speaking of that, how much actual sugar cane is still in there? Because we're making a lot of sugar. There's still 18,000 liters of sugar in there. That sugar's gonna make us a freaking killing, man. It's a gold mine. That is a gold mine. That is the same level of gold mine as clothes, among other things. Alright, so let's just unhook that here. Perfect. And we can just get this out of the way. Don't really like just setting this out in the middle of the open, but for the time being, I'm just going to put it over here in front of the sawmill because it is going to be needed again back there. We're utilizing it pretty heavily on doing the wood chips, right? Oh, does it not pick up? Oh, it doesn't pick up straw. Oh, I thought it did. Why did I think it did? It does say it picks up straw, right? I know what that is? Weird. It's clearly not working. Okay. Weird. Well, that changes everything. Well, I'm glad we didn't get rid of this thing. We had talked about potentially getting rid of this thing since we didn't really need it anymore based off the forage harvester, but I'm glad we did not get rid of it yet because clearly I'm either doing something wrong, which hopefully somebody in the comments will correct me if I am, or two, it just simply does not work for straw. Even though the thing itself looked to me like it would be able to accept straw. I don't know. Weird. That's alright. We got this. We might have to try to either make an upgrade to this, though, because this is going to take a couple of trips, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but since we have the money, we've been trying to continue to make upgrades, right? To make things easier, make our life easier. So I think it makes sense if we have the money to go ahead and upgrade it and get something that's bigger, that can hold more, so we don't have to make as many trips. And that is simply if this continues to be the same thing, where we have to utilize this to pick up straw. Because we're going to have a lot of straw coming. We've got another barley field. We got oat field. We got wheat field. At least I think I said that correct. That's an oat field. I guess we don't have a wheat field. Yeah, we don't have a wheat field. But we have another barley field, we got an oat field, so either way. Still, crops that drop straw. We've got two more fields, and one of them is quite large. Utilizing the John Deere here with the tracks. I know somebody in the comments mentioned lately that, you know, tracks aren't that easy, but I don't mind tracks at all. It's just the articulate tractors that I'm terrible with, which that Nexat pretty much is an articulate tractor with an articulate harvester. I don't know why I have issues with those articulate ones, but I do. I don't, it just doesn't, my brain just doesn't work that way, I think. But tracks, I have no problem with tracks. I like tracks, actually. They turn on a dime, so it does, you know, take you a second to get used to that, but it's really not that bad. We got a lot of straw to pick up here, and for some reason it's not letting me pick up some of this on the ground. I wonder if it's just a bad rendering where it's just stuck there even though there's nothing there. Because sometimes when you go over this straw in FS25, it still shows it's not doing it right now. I guess it kind of is if you look close enough. But you kind of go over top of it and it still shows there, like you're not picking any of it up, even though you are. It's just like a delayed rendering effect where the straw image is not being taken away, if that makes sense. Where we pretty much have a full load here. There we go. So let's go ahead and dump this off here. Alright, dump that, do a quick auto save. We're going to turn on the straw to silage. Straw to silage. Distributing, perfect. Good. I just gotta make sure it doesn't take too much out of there, because you know it's kind of sharing, right? It's been sharing a little bit between the silos, which it's supposed to be a non-sharing silo, but for whatever reason it still does it. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It keeps doing that to me too, where I'm not actually opening up the menu, but it keeps loading up the menu. For whatever reason. I'm trying to create a job of some sort. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let's get this done, gang. It'll take a while with this, but it shouldn't be too bad. Alright, well that's done, gang, and clearly between the where I left you at and the time-lapse here itself, I upgraded the forge wagon here, the loading wagon here, to the unrealistic size. So that helped us with having to make a bunch of trips back and forth here. There's a lot of it that I was unable to get up off the ground, and I think it just has to do with the shape of that field. It's really, really hilly. It's got a lot of big bumps. We need to try to probably smooth that out a little bit. I think I might have done that early on, but we really didn't have a whole lot of money to spend at that point. So I don't think I really went any further than that. But perhaps we should. I'm going to drop this off right here in front of the water buffalo for now. It normally stays either in front of the water buffalo or in front of the sheep. In front of the water buffalo is fine for right now. I'm going to pull this over here for right now. Turn that off. And we're going to go into the construction settings here, and we're going to get the smoothing tool out, and we're going to see if we can try to smooth this out a little bit more, maybe, so then the next time it's not as severe, if there is a next time. As you can see, it is clearly just chewing through that money quickly here because of how hilly this is, trying to smoothen this out. Which I'm fine with, as long as we're able to have a little bit of a better go at being able to try to pick up this stuff off the ground, right? Now, ideally, this field itself is probably the next step we're going to work on. And what I mean by that is we're going to try to expand it a little bit. We talked before about once we get this track in, right? And that's probably the next step is put the track in around to here, connect it to here, and then probably put one behind this, like I said, over to here, which may not be used very often, but at least do that. And then the rest of this side of the hill here can actually be turned into an extension to this field, right? That way we kind of have the full layout. I'm also considering, although initially, early on, I don't think we were ever thinking about doing this, but I am considering removing these trees here and extending the field down here to our track down here. I'm not sure that'll actually happen or not, but I'm considering it, so we'll see as we move along if I decide to do that or not. All right, we spent quite a lot of money there. Hopefully, it's a little bit better. I don't know why I even got out of the menu here. I was just trying to zoom in. It does look a little bit smoother to me. It doesn't have that... There was an extreme bump right here, which is part of the problem we were having when we were harvesting and picking it up. Yeah, I think it's better. Hopefully that is the case when the time comes. So let's get... I should have just jumped out of the the John Deere and jumped into the cloths. We were that close to it. Let's see. Where did I put... Alright, I found it. I lost my train of thought for a minute. I couldn't even remember where I put the trailer at. That was a brain fart there for a minute. But we found it. So we're going to get rid of the rest of these trees here today. And at least gives us a bit of an idea of how large this grass field is going to be. It's not going to be as big as I actually initially anticipated, given the fact of where we are. If I turn the map on, you can see we're right here at the edge of our land. And the poplar field is a little bit closer than I actually expected it to be. I thought we were going to have a lot more land back here that we were going to be utilizing. That's not the case, but that's okay. It should still be sufficient for us and for what we really need for the rest of this series in regard to the water buffalo and the sheep. Because it is going to be a longer field. It's just going to be skinny and long. See if I go into construction here. So basically where this tree is falling down, that's pretty much the line here. So if you cut it all the way down to here, right? All the way down to here, you kind of get a basic idea of where the extent this is going to be at. Now, it is going to be a bit of a slightly awkward shaped grass field, because my goal here is when this is ready to harvest, we're going to basically take this tree here and make an imaginary line going all the way down to here, and this is going to be the basic crop field, and then from this point over to this way and all the way back here is all going to be grass. So it'll be a decent size. We were pretty close to 100%, so I decided to just keep going a little bit, so we kind of started going into that section there, just so we can get a full trailer load. So we're going to go dump this. I already have the John Deere down here, and I picked up the 2 trees. That bump is still there. That's going to drive me crazy. Anyway, I picked up the 2 trees that were down over there, which we'll bring to the sawmill, so the sawmill can actually get started again, because it is currently not working. There's no wood in there. We're going to be having a lot of wood chips in here, gang. Actually, it's probably going to be easier for me just to jump out here and show it to you from the silo itself, because those are going to be the very, very bottom. There you go. As you can tell, we're getting close to 1 million wood chips here. So there's going to be a lot of money when it's time to sell those things. And we've got those pallets over there at the sawmill, which I guess you can't really see right now, that are also going to be ready. So while that's unloading, we'll go ahead and take the wood up here. We also got another pallet of clothes, which we're going to go sell right now. I don't really want to hold on to those right now because it's still a good price, so we might as well go ahead and sell it. Make some money off of it. Nope, nope, nope. There we go. All right. So now it's running again, which is good. We do have that tree over there that's been kind of a bit of a... Well, nobody's really been joking about it, but for me it's been a bit of a running joke, but we will get rid of it soon. Not going to be today. And this is what we need here. We're going to go take whatever wool has spawned over to Grandma's knitwear, Grandma's house as I like to call it. And then we'll go sell that pallet of clothes. Yeah, this episode already, we got another pallet and almost, well, this beginning of another pallet. This thing is fantastic, man. I love this little thing, and I even put dualies on it. I've talked before that I'm not actually a big fan of dualies on tractors, but I do like the way it looks here on the forklift for some reason. Gives it a little bit more support too, so which I think is a good thing, right? Fantastic. $35,000. We're back up to $300,000. We're going to leave the episode here, gang. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate it if you smashed the like and subscribe button for me. Doing both of those things helps me out an absolute ton. Thoughts, questions, comments, ideas, let me know down below. As always, thanks to my members. If you want to become a member, links in the description down below. You get early access to videos like this one and a members-only series, among other things. Discord's down there. Everything you need is all down there, as I always say. And until next time, we'll see you all in the next episode.